Welcome to another week of A Friendly Nudge. So this week we're going to make an avocado blackberry salad. And there's a lot of other stuff in it, but I think the avocado and the blackberry just play great together. And I'm using arugula and some feta, and we're going to toast some pecans. And then we're going to make a vinaigrette with lemon juice, Dijon mustard, a little honey, and some olive oil. And one of the things I like about a salad is it is kind of the ultimate play with your food kind of meal, because, and this will be a side, there'll be something else that I'll have with it. You know, one of the things as I'm looking back at this, I'm like, man, why did you put a red onion in that? Because that would have gone great with it. But then there's a lot of other things that you could also add. But just keep that in mind. Whenever you make a salad, always kind of go, all right, what could I do next time? So, what we're going to do with this one is, before we get too far into it, we're going to get the pecans toasted, because that, to me, just kind of moves those up another notch. And all I do is just get a hot skillet and then just move the pecans around in it. You don't want to let them burn. That's the biggest thing. And you can start to smell when they're done. As soon as you kind of start to smell pecans, it's like, okay, it's time to pull them off the heat. And then, we're just going to I'm going to use a whole lemon. This is a citrus press. I use this a lot with cocktails. In fact, I'll probably do a few cocktail videos here in the future at some point, because that's another thing that I enjoy making. But yeah, we're going to use both halves of the lemon. And what I like about this is that pouring spout. It lets you, like if you're making a cocktail, you can pour it off into the shot glass to, figure out how much. And I'm just going to put a couple of squirts of, I'm using whole grain mustard. You could use Dijon. And we're going to put a couple of squirts of honey in here, because there's quite a bit of lemon juice. And then I'm going to do about 3 parts of olive oil for that 1 part of lemon juice. So kind of however much lemon juice in, put about 3 times that amount of olive oil. And then just shake it up real well. And, the Dijon mustard and the honey kind of act as an emulsifier to kind of hold everything together. So I just want to make sure that there's nothing completely out of balance with it. It tastes really good. And I'm using arugula. I've started using it a lot better, or a lot more often. It seems to hold up better than like spinach does. It doesn't start getting kind of funky like spinach does in a hurry. And I'm not going to use that whole thing of feta. And, with the cheese, you could use feta, you could use goat cheese. I think blue cheese would work really well with this. You kind of play around with whatever flavor profile you're looking for. I use feta quite a bit just because I think it brings some personality. And I had washed the blackberries. I'm kind of picking through them because I've got probably a few more than what I need for the salad. So I just want to make sure that I don't get any funky spots on them. And then we're going to put a whole avocado in there. So we're just going to cut it up. And what I do when I'm going to cut an avocado is I usually will hold it in my hand. You just have to make sure that you don't do a slicing motion. I'm just cutting straight down. If you pull the knife, obviously you're going to leave part of your finger in there with the avocado. And that kind of messes up the meal. So now just taking it off of the seed. And I think all of these flavors go great. Like I said, a red onion would be a nice touch. Cut it real thin, and probably only about 1/4 of an onion. But adding the pecans to it. And this was an excellent salad. This would go great with any kind of protein, really. This is going to be a nice complement for. So get it plated up, and then going to add some of the dressing to it just to see what the whole package is like. Okay, now it's time for and I just give it another shake, make sure it's nice and mixed together. And you don't have to overwhelm it, but just, it really adds some nice balance to it. So this is delicious. Have a wonderful week and play with your food.